In this video, I will show you how to visualize a running experiment. Now, when you run an experiment like this one, RLlib stores all the results in a default results directory. You can find the path to the default results directory from the logs right before each training summary table. So it's here, as you can see. You can also set a different results directory by passing the local dir argument to the tune.run command. So let's try that. And we are going to set local dir to the relative path cartpole_v1, and let's run that. And when we run this, we see that RLlib has created a folder called cartpole_v1 right next to the Jupyter notebook. Each experiment creates the following files and folders inside the results directory. First, you get a folder with the algorithm name. Inside that, there are some time-stamped files storing the experiment state, but we don't need that. Then there is a time-stamped folder. This folder is very important as it contains all the training and evaluation data. A software called TensorBoard, which was automatically installed when we installed RLlib, can visualize the training and evaluation data in real time as the experiment is running. Basically, instead of boring text like this, you get cool and fancy graphs like that. So let's see how that works. So for this, we have to go to a terminal and type tensorboard --logdir and then supply the path to the folder containing the training and evaluation data. Then go to the returned URL in your browser. This is the TensorBoard interface. Many aspects of the training and evaluation can be visualized here. For us, the most important metric is the average total rewards per episode during training and evaluation, because this indicates how close the agent is to its goal. To track this metric during training, look for the graph with the tag ray/tune/episode reward mean. The x-axis here is the total number of steps that the agent has taken so far while training and learning. The y-axis shows the average total rewards per episode as the agent trains and learns in the environment. Here we see that the metric is steadily increasing, indicating that the agent is learning. And if the experiment is still running, you can update the graphs to include the most recent data. Simply click on this reload button and the graph will update to include all the data available so far. Of course, if the experiment is stopped, the reload button won't do anything because there is no new data to show. And you might sometimes find that the graph breaks off at the edges. In order to prevent that, just uncheck this checkbox and then you will see the entire data. In the last lesson, we discussed that the training metric is useful as an indication of learning, but the evaluation metric is the indicator of the agent's current capability. So let's look at the average total rewards per episode during evaluation. We need to find a graph with the tag ray/tune/evaluation/episode reward mean. Here it is. The x-axis and the y-axis are the same as the previous graph I showed you. Now we can also visualize and compare two experiments simultaneously. For that, let's run a second experiment with the same environment, but let's now use a different algorithm. And you can choose any algorithm implemented by RLlib, and the full list is in this web page, as I showed you in the last lesson. And this time, let's choose the famous DQN algorithm. So just replace the algorithm name with DQN. And to visualize both experiments simultaneously, the easiest way is to choose the same results directory as before. So use local dir and set it to the same directory as we used before. And that's because TensorBoard can automatically detect different experiments stored under the same results directory and display them simultaneously. To use this capability, we simply need to pass the common top-level directory into the logdir argument. TensorBoard will start from the supplied directory and auto-detect the training and evaluation data from both experiments under this directory. So let's try that in the terminal. We stop the previously running command and start a new one where we pass the top level directory as the logdir argument. Then if we open the URL again in the browser, we will see results from both running experiment. Here, for example, the orange data corresponds to the experiment running the PPO algorithm, and the blue data here, this tiny one, represents the data running, the experiment running the DQN algorithm. So that's cool, isn't it? If you reload, you will see the new data coming in. We can also turn off visualizations from any experiment we want. So let's turn off the PPO. And then you see only the results from the one that's selected. I recommend to play around a lot with TensorBoard, running different algorithms on different environments and visualizing them in TensorBoard is the best way to get a feeling for reinforcement learning.